It is man of the moment, Nigel Farage. And the victories just keep coming. After seeing off two woke chief executives responsible for his discriminatory banking scandal and launching a huge campaign on behalf of tens of thousands of Brits who have suffered the same treatment, it's been revealed tonight that Coutts has sensationally offered Nigel his bank accounts back. Meanwhile, the last fat cat standing amid the row, NatWest Group chairman Sir Howard Davies, has stood firm and refused to resign, instead announcing an independent review into Nigel's treatment. However, the city firm he's appointed, Travers Smith, is led by a man who once described Brexiteers as, quote, racist, xenophobic and nostalgic. The exact same language, pretty much, that Coutts used in internal documents to describe Farage himself. So, Nigel, is it fair to say that this probe will be the epitome of a woke wash?
Yeah, completely and utterly. I mean, what an absolute joke, and how typical of Sir Howard Davies. I mean, if ever there was a creature of the establishment, it's him. With every job he fails, he gets a new, even bigger, more highly paid job. So, yeah, there is no prospect of a decent review. Look, thank you to Mo Saeed, who is the new CEO of Coutts, for saying, have the accounts back. And that's good of him. And I could say, well, that's it. That's absolutely fine. It's all been no problem at all. But actually, it has been a problem, Dan, because they've lied to me. They've traduced me. They have leaked against me. They have treated me absolutely appallingly. And I had to publish defamatory material about myself, which has fed the left-wing trolls and others, many accusations that have been buried, frankly, for years and years and years. I had to do all of this to prove my case. So I have today sent a letter, begun litigation with Coutts, NatWest, to say, look, I want to have a meeting. I want to sit down face to face and find out how this happened, why this happened. I want you to accept you've broken the law. I want you to accept that you have taken up an inordinate amount of my time. You've cost me a great deal of money in legal fees already, which I've used all the way through to make sure that I was dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But more important than all of that, I want to know how many other people had accounts closed at NatWest and Coutts because of their opinions. And what can we do to make sure that nothing like this ever happens to anybody else in your banking group again?
What are you expecting to hear from them, Nigel? Do you think they'll be open to that?
They are so in the wrong, Dan. They're so in the wrong. They've been so condemned. Their reputation is so damaged. I think they will meet. I'd be very, very surprised if they don't meet. And who knows? Maybe Mr. Saeed is a new broom within Coutts. Let's hope that he is, although with Howard Davies still in position, as chairperson of the overall group, I do have my doubts. But look, I've said from the start, I didn't need to go public on any of this. It was always going to be potentially humiliating and difficult, and so some of it has been. But I felt somewhere in my water there was a bigger story here. And what we're learning is there is actually a national debanking scandal that is going on. Up to 1,000 accounts are being closed every single day. And most of these people aren't in my position. They haven't got the platform. They haven't got the opportunity to fight back. So if I can speak up for all of those people, if we can deal with this nonsense, if we can get ultimately to the position where having a bank account becomes a right in our country, because you can't function otherwise in the 21st century without it, that would be a real victory. And that's where I want to get to. Let's get politics out of banking. Let's get prejudice out of banking. And let's give all of our citizens the opportunity themselves and with their small businesses to flourish.
Well, look, Nigel, I hope change is coming. Really interesting. Dame Andrea Jenkins, former Conservative Education Minister, on our Superstar panel tonight. Last week, she revealed that she had been rejected by 3 banks in terms of opening up a new account. over the weekend, she says Metro Bank, which is obviously one of the banks that is believed to have shut down accounts for political purposes, including from the Reform UK chairman, Richard Tice, the party of which, of course, you're the honorary chair. She says they've approached her over the weekend and asked her to reapply for her account. So perhaps we are starting to see some of these banks change.
Well, I hope so, Dan. And I mean, it was interesting, Grant Shapps yesterday saying that his kids had all been refused bank accounts. I mean, isn't it funny, though? All these things bubble away. It's rather like the desire to leave the European Union. Yet the only person that ever says it is me. I say it, and suddenly everybody else says, "Oh, it's my turn. I'm going to come out too." Yeah. I'm going to join the cavalry. And yes, of course. I mean, I had tonight on the programme a local councillor in southwest London, and his little group of independents who formed a party, got it registered with Elcom, done everything right. They can't get a bank account. So yes, the implications for public life and democracy of the PEP rules, the politically exposed persons rules, are serious, but it goes far wider, far broader than that. There are lots of people out there who have no voice, who are living in fear, living in despair. My website inbox has never been busier. And I include in that national referendums, winning European elections, and I'm busier on this with more, interestingly, cross-party support than anything I've ever done before.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because there are two different reactions from the left, Nigel. So firstly, you've got the Emily Maitlises of this world who seem to say, oh, you're just stoking populist division. What was your response to her?
Well, look, I'm sorry, but I mean, it would be very hard to be anybody more detached from real life than Emily Maitlis. But the truth is, there are plenty of people. I mean, the typical email I get today from real people is, I often don't agree with you on policy issues, but this is a really important fundamental question of free speech, of democratic traditions. Oh, and by the way, my brother's business was shut last year. This reaches out. So, yeah, of course, you're going to have some in the media who want to prosecute their career by being against me and appealing to hatred and prejudice. Let them do so. Actually, many people who would not be on my wavelength can see this really matters.
Well, yes, and that was where I was going to get to, because I spoke about it in my digest today. I thought there was quite a powerful moment when you came out publicly to speak up for Gina Miller, who, let's be honest, for many years was really your arch nemesis, the ultimate Ramona. But shocking that Monzo and 9 other banks don't want to give her true and fair party an account, because, as she says, that is bad for democracy.
Well, this is why I've launched, accountclosed.org. It's non-political. It's for people from across the spectrum who've been closed out. We need to find out the true extent of this. I mean, the Mail on Sunday got an FOI back suggesting that 1,000 accounts a day are being closed down. Can you think about that? 1,000 accounts a day. So I think there's a big national scandal here. I hope I've lifted the lid on it. I hope it leads to a bigger, broader public debate on a variety of levels and genuine reform, cultural reform from within the banks and other institutions who've been literally hijacked by very extreme organisations, and legislative change coming from government that says, look, we all want to stop money laundering, but frankly, these rules are hurting men and women running small businesses. I'm actually quite ambitious for this. I really am.
Well, look, I signed up over the weekend, accountclosed.org. It's a really simple website, very effective, and it gives you the information that you need in order to go and challenge the bank if your account has been shut down. So congratulations, Nigel. Of course, both sides of the story, as ever on GB News, though, and Sir Howard Davies, the NatWest Group chairman, has said in response to Nigel, my intention is to continue to lead the board. My understanding is that we do have the full support of our main shareholder and the regulators for us to continue to steer this bank forward. Now.